Assalamu alaikum and thank you everybody, your panel members. I think Rabia kindly introduced everybody. So, ये जो discussion है, the title is Organized Retail in the Post-COVID Era and the Learnings During the Pandemic and Improving Customer Experience at Scale. अब हमने देखा, I think पिछले 2 साल जो pandemic के गुजरे, how sort of it changed everything and which sectors, I think every sector was hit differently, but retail especially, along with hospitality, restaurants and the like, were very badly affected, and it was a big shock. और ये मुझे हमें बहुत अच्छी तरह हम in fact reminisce कर रहे थे, हम आपस में बात कर रहे थे कि when we all met once things started closing down and we had no idea what to do and how to sort of navigate that process, and we didn't even know sort of how long it would last, and that was the uncertainty was very challenging, and I think that's what we wanted to discuss today, ताकि सबके साथ ये थोड़ा सा share हो, आपस में हम आपस में discuss भी करें, and we share our learnings. So, for my first question is, and I think this is for each of you, and I'd like to request Ayesha to sort of start with this, is that sort of as you as a business leader, and especially in the retail business, how do you tackle the initial weeks and months, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, to manage the impact?
Can you hear me?
Ji.
Thank you, Asfandyar. So I feel the biggest challenge that we had, March 2020 onwards, was to deal with the uncertainty as far as our employees were concerned, as far as the stores were concerned, because there was no knowledge. We were going into a lockdown, stores shut down, our factories had to shut down, and it was a lot of uncertainty regarding what would be the next step. So for us, what we did is, one thing we decided is employee retention would stay. Talking to our employees across all the levels and say, okay, we don't know what the next step is going to be, but we are going to be with you. That I felt really helped as far as employee morale was concerned. And for us, what we did is, our web store was at a very nascent stage. But what we did is, we decided, okay, we don't know what's going to be happening with the malls and the stores. Let's focus on making the customer shift from a brick and mortar experience to a web store experience. Yes. So that is where our focus did. We had our warehouses working when they could. We focused on revamping and putting more of our product lines on the web store and sort of facilitating that shift from the brick and mortar to the web store experience.
Okay, great. And Shamoon, sort of get your input as well, especially considering the time of when the pandemic hit. I mean, it hit, I think that was really a tough period, especially that time of the season. If you could shed light on that and your experience and your...
So Asfandyar, can you hear me?
Yeah, good.
If I reflect back the past 2 years, I think the first 2 months were relatively easy because everything was shut. Zero expectations thi. Obviously, everyone was in a big shock, but that was for all across, all industries, sab band tha. I think the problem really started when things started opening up, and one by one, when we saw all the industries full gear mein aati gayi, or retail industry kind of was running partially. I think that was the most challenging part. Obviously, missing out on seasons, ab wo 2, 4, 5, 6 हो गए तो वो आदत हो गई है, सो इतना वो बात नहीं करता हूँ सीजन लूज करना, बट लर्निंग बहुत हुई इसके अंदर, लर्निंग बहुत हुई. जो बिगेस्ट लर्निंग थी वो ये थी कि वी हैव टू कॉन्सेंट्रेट ऑन अ कोर, दैट इज़ की फॉर एनी ब्रांड, फॉर एनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सो लॉट ऑफ रिफ्लेक्टिंग बैक एंड सीइंग कि क्या सही था, क्या गलत था. बट आई थिंक जो इंडस्ट्री को सबसे ज़्यादा डैमेज किया वो इनिशियल लॉकडाउन ने नहीं किया था, वॉज द पार्शियल लॉकडाउन्स. And I think now we finally, hopefully it's now behind us. But uske jo repercussions hain, I think that's still going to last a few more months. So
prolonged basically, that the whole thing is very prolonged in that sense.